All right, and welcome back to the new show. Well, to the new OneTake show where we take something off the screen, off the page, or out of my head, and we talk about it. And today we're going off the screen and a little bit different. We're going documentary style. We're going 14 Peaks. It's a new documentary. It's been out for, oh, I guess it's been out for a few weeks on Netflix. Look, I never want to I'm around here, you guys do what you want, all right? But I cannot recommend, right? I can recommend stuff. I cannot recommend this documentary enough. Even if you're not into, because the whole thing is about somebody climbing the tallest mountains in the world, all 14 of them in less than a year. It's crazy. He calls it Project Possible. And it's just, even if you don't like mountaineering, just the idea of somebody going out and making something that seems completely unimaginably difficult, impossible to do. He went out, dropped everything, quit everything he was doing, and dedicated everything he had to doing this, not to really climb the 14 mountains, but to really prove that anything's possible if you put if you put yourself to it, if you really dedicate yourself to it. And today, I don't want to go too far into it. There's really just like two main ideas or two things that I really want to pull out or talk about today. And the first thing is something that it's two kind of quotes that he says. And one quote that he says kind of earlier on in the documentary is, giving up is not in the blood. And it's something that he's like talking to other people about as they're going up the mountain, and he's really excited, and he's like, giving up, it's not in the blood, like we got to keep going. There is no returning back around. There's, until we reach the top, we're not done. And just his philosophy, or his, how he got to his understanding and what he's trying to do, like he picked a purpose that is bigger, doesn't really have like an end goal for himself. He just wants to prove that things are possible, and by not giving up, right? We all are trying to accomplish something, or trying to do something, or follow some sort of path, and none of us really give up. Yeah, we might stumble or stop doing one thing, but we pick up something else. And giving up is just not, it's not in our blood. And that's kind of the way that I'm taking it, out of from, is that we just keep going at things. Whether we might get stopped or stumbled along the way, you just got to keep going. For us, for humans, or whatever you want to call it, like we're the type of people, we're humans. We keep going, and we keep trying new things and finding new avenues, and it's just not in our way to give up on things. And some things we hold on to, and some things we might let go or put down, but for those things and those reasons, we keep going at something. And with his mind, he keeps going at one goal, one kind of aspect of his goal. And no matter what gets in his way, he's going to keep trying to push through until that's it, because this is more important to him than anything else. And I just thought that was really interesting to kind of see, and so empowering too, and really struck me. And a quote that has kind of stuck out, and is something that it keeps like popping up in my head, as I'm working on something. Doesn't matter how small or insignificant it is, because sometimes it's so easy just to like give up on even just pouring yourself a bowl of cereal, trying to get some breakfast, and you're like, not to, you got to get the box and open it up and pour. I mean, there's so many steps. You can see I'm not climbing a mountain anytime soon. Um, I want to, though. I don't know why. Like I said, like I'm not going that far crazy, but it is kind of a reminder of how like beautiful like the outside is, and just like being tested by something that's so tall and so unimaginably huge. I mean, pick any mountain. I mean, most mountains are, they're bigger than you. So I mean, just to be there and witness something that makes you feel small. I think is such an empowering thing, and it's really proven throughout this documentary. And I just really like that quote that he gives, and it's just kind of something to kind of piece out and utilize, and even in different aspects, even if you fail at something, just kind of like what I was saying before, it might not have made a whole lot of sense, but just like if you stop at something, you can pick something else up, right? You can just not giving up in general, as a concept, and then diving deeper into it, into his full aspect. And I think he was using it as broad or as deep as you intended, or as you intended to need. Just understanding that you can't give up until there's nothing left to give. And so I just thought that was really fascinating. Another thing that was really, it made me chuckle, but it was a very serious moment. And I also really like the context of this. As he's kind of in a meeting where a bunch of people have decided not to go back up on this mountain. There's been avalanches, people have been seriously injured or even worse, and the conditions just kind of aren't right. And this guy, Nims is his name, is saying we can't give up. We're here. We got to show that we can do it. And everyone's like, no, no, we're effed. Like we are effed to the core. And he's like, you know what? When anybody says they're effed, well, you're really only 45% effed, right? Like anytime you really like are saying like, okay, this is too much, I give up. Really, you could give a little bit more. I mean, how often, like in a workout or something like that, where you're feeling, oh, I'm done. But if you were really forced to do it, you could go a little bit further. I love putting myself in those types of situations. I don't do it very often, but when I'm in those situations, it's nice to like be tested and just be able to know that you can go a little bit further. It's something I definitely experienced when I was hiking the Grand Canyon a couple years ago now. And I remember just I had nothing left. I mean, I was dragging my lame body. Like I had no energy, just nothing left. But I was in a moment where I was telling myself, if I don't walk out of here, then I don't walk out of here. Not like in some like drastic sense, right? Because there's plenty of people around. I'm not like in serious danger. But it was like this clear understanding of like, it's my two legs that are going to walk myself out of here. So I've got to find it in myself to keep going, until I really can't go anymore. And then, hopefully maybe somebody will pick me off the side of the road. But just that idea of when you're being in that type of situation, you got to give a little bit more. And I just really liked his saying of like, when you kind of tell yourself, oh, I'm effed, I can't go anymore. Well, how effed are you? I mean, really take a step back and look at it and go, oh, am I really? Or could I go a little bit this way? Could I make one more step? Right? Because sometimes it just comes down to making one small movement, right? We tend to want to look at, oh, I want to reach the destination. Of course, for me, I wanted to get the hell out of that canyon. But I, at a certain point when it's to the edge there, sometimes the best things you can do is just, what's my next step? Okay, let's complete that. Okay, what's the next one after that, and the next one after that? And sooner rather than later, you'll find yourself hopefully out of that canyon. There's I love telling this story. When I was a kid, I used to do this. I would go out to the summer camp on an island, and they had this mile swim where you would swim a mile like out in the ocean. It was like a half mile out in the ocean and a half mile back. And the only way that you could do it is if somebody, accompanied you in a rowboat. And so they'd row along with you in case, you gave up or it was too cold or whatever. So there's some safety measures. And when I went, I was like 14 years old. I was super small, and I was just saying, I can't do this. And my dad was like, yeah, you can do this. And he was, of course, going to be the one in the rowboat. And I went with a couple of my buddies, and we went out like first thing in the morning because it was like the last day. I'd procrastinated all the way to the end, as I do. And we get out in the rowboat and we start. and we start swimming. First half mile seems like a breeze. We're all laughing, having a good time, swimming. It just seems so empowering to be doing this thing. Like we're out in the middle of the ocean swimming a mile. Like as for a 14-year-old kid, I'm just like, what is happening right now? And we're starting to go on our way back. And my buddy started giving up. One was like, oh, it's too cold. Like, get me out of here. I mean, it was cold. It was the ocean, but like, get me out of here. 6 o'clock in the morning. The other guy just started to get tired. And kind of the rule of thumb was if you touched the rowboat or, got into the rowboat, you were done. And that was kind of your ending of the mile swim because you used either assistance or you gave up. So my two friends gave up. And all of a sudden, the reasons why they gave up, I instantly was like, I want to give up too. I don't want to do this. I'm cold. I'm tired. They were way better swimmers and everything than me. So I was like, no, thank you. And my dad was like, are you sure? Like are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I don't want to do this anymore. And he goes, all right, fine. Like, come touch the rowboat and we'll get you out of here. And so I go, all right, well, I can get to the rowboat. It's only a few feet away. And it was like a surge of energy almost. Cause, once you're telling yourself you're done and being done, I'm done. So I start swimming. And I look up and my dad's about the same distance away from me. And I'm going, what in the world? Like, am I just all gas and no go right now? Like I thought I really dug in and gave my last bit of energy. My dad's not the type of person to say like, hey, you can be done. Like he usually expects me to finish what I started. And so for him to be like, hey, come touch the rowboat. And I really kind of sped up to the rowboat. And so I'm thinking, all right, I'll give this one more time. So I put my head down, swim. Look up, he's still the same distance away. And now he starts baiting me. He's like, Nick, I thought you were done. Just swim up to the rowboat. Let's call it a day. Like, just quit messing around over here. So now I'm thinking, am I just swimming in the same place? Am I caught in a whirlpool? What's going on here? So I'm thinking, all right, this is enough of this. Put my head down, swim. Look up, he's about the same distance. And now he's getting more furious at me, going, Nick, I'm telling you right now, swim to the rowboat, call it a day. You've given up. That's fine. But you got to like call it a day, like quit messing around. And I'm thinking, all right, fine. I'll prove this to you. I'll swim right to you right now. And so this time I give it everything I have. I use my feet, the whole nine. Swim. And I look up and he goes, you're done. And I go, I'm not done. I'm trying to get to you. Now I'm mad at him, right? We're having an argument in the water. And he goes, no, you're done. Look where you are. And I look around and I'm back at the docks. I had finished the whole swim. Now, of course, all you guys are realizing every time I went to swim up to him, he just kept rowing on backwards and then baiting me to keep swimming. And I look back at that now, especially like after watching this, and it was, that was one of those instances where like I kept pushing through. And so many oftentimes than not, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I give up. I give up all the time. I gave up on that bowl of cereal. No, but there are those moments where you do find yourself pushing just a little bit more. And this documentary kind of shows you can do that in all sorts of instances. And no one's expecting, I'm not telling you to like flip a switch and go like, climb 14 peaks that are 18,000 feet in the air. But what I am saying, and I'm just saying this more for me. Like it was just inspiring to me. And it kind of reminded me of those few moments where I pushed outside of my comfort zone and was able to accomplish something pretty cool, in my realm of things. And it makes me excited to see what, the future holds and to get after more things. And when I'm on those verges of giving up, maybe I can remind myself that A, giving up is not in the blood. And B, when you're effed, you're only 45% effed. Like I just really liked those two quotes. And I really liked, the position of this documentary. Once again, incredible documentary. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Those are just some of my thoughts and feelings in the moment. Hope you guys took something, maybe even a laugh out of it. And we'll catch you guys all in the next time. Do whatever you guys want to do, and later.